Hello, very good morning and welcome to Athavan newspaper highlights. Today is Saturday, 22nd of October 2016. This is Edward with the highlights of today's English newspapers. As usual, we have three newspapers for the highlights: Daily Mirror, Daily News and Ceylon Today. Firstly, let's have a look on the Daily Mirror. The main headline says, clash between two groups of fishermen. 10 people seriously injured, 6 vehicles set on fire. At least 10 people were seriously injured and several vehicles set on fire during a clash between two groups of fishermen at Kandakuliya in Kalpitiya yesterday. Ambulance driver keen on coconuts ignores patient. An ambulance driver transporting a patient in a critical condition is alleged to have stopped the vehicle at a spot where coconuts were being sold. The patient was being taken from the Embilipitiya district hospital to the Ratnapura hospital for further treatment. This episode went viral and by noon yesterday, more than 128,000 visiting the social media website. Sabragamuwa Provincial Director of Health Services Dr. Kabila Kannangara said the driver was immediately transferred to the Ratnapura Deputy Health Officer's office. Government to develop Hambantota port with China merchants. The government has decided to enter into an agreement with the China Merchants Holdings Company Limited to develop the Hambantota port on the basis of a private-public partnership with 80% of the shares transferred to the company. Ravi Karunanayaka's former FB administrator remanded. The former administrator of the Finance Minister's official Facebook account was ordered to be remanded till October 27 by Colombo Additional Magistrate Nishant Piris yesterday on charges of maintaining the FB page without the minister's consent. Death of 2 Jaffna University students, 5 police personnel arrested. 2 male students attached to the Jaffna University sustained fatal injuries after they were shot by the police for disobeying orders to stop their motorcycle at the roadblock at the Kulapati junction in Kangesanturai early yesterday. Secondly, let's move to Daily News. The main headline says, silence in the courts, enjoining order lifted. Further inquiry into plaint fixed for January 19, 2017. The Colombo District Court yesterday lifted the enjoining order issued earlier preventing the screening of Prasanna Vidanage's maiden documentary film Silence in the Courts. Colombo District Judge M.U. Gunasegara decided not to extend the enjoining order, taking into consideration the arguments presented by 8 defendant parties including veteran film director Prasanna Vidanage, film producer H.D. Premasari and Sri Lanka Film Corporation. European Parliament's South Asia Delegation Chairman lauds Sri Lanka's progress. Chairman of the European Parliament's delegation to the countries of South Asia, Jean Lambert, while lauding Sri Lanka's effort in implementing political, economic and social reforms on Thursday, stressed that the European Parliament should support Sri Lanka. She added that Sri Lanka is moving in the right path to progress, strengthening democracy and human rights and should receive the European Parliament's support. CID commences probe into Jaffna undergrads' deaths. 5 policemen arrested. The Criminal Investigation Department has commenced an investigation into the deaths of 2 Jaffna University students travelling on a motorcycle in Kangesanturai on Thursday night, the Government Information Department said. A statement by the department said that the post-mortem into these deaths were being held. Meanwhile, the police said the post-mortem reports revealed that one body of the student had gunshot wounds. CID sources said 5 police officers suspected to be involved in the case were arrested and interdicted. TNA condemns Jaffna incident. The Tamil National Alliance condemned the incident in Jaffna yesterday which killed 2 university students. The TNA issuing a release yesterday stated that TNA and opposition leader R. Sampanthan met President Maithripala Sirisena while attending an event in Trincomalee and raised concerns regarding the incident. The release added, a special police unit has been deployed in Jaffna to investigate the incident on the orders of the President, and the police officers allegedly involved in the incident have been taken into custody. Opposition leader Sampanthan also spoke to the Inspector General of Police and expressed his dissatisfaction and also requested the IGP to conduct an impartial investigation and take immediate action. Finally, let's move to Ceylon Today. The main headline says, blowing the lid off Lasanta's murder. Activists to go public with facts. Some civil activist groups are planning to go public with some startling revelations shortly related to the brutal murder of the late journalist Lasantha Wickramatunge 7 years ago, as well as in connection with the alleged abduction of cartoonist Prageeth Eknalikoda, which occurred 5 years ago. Sources said that these civil activists will reveal hitherto unknown facts lest they be relegated to a forgotten past to the benefit of those who committed those crimes. Mihin crashes, 300 employees on board. Future lies in wreckage. Approximately 300 employees of Sri Lanka's first budget carrier Mihin Lanka yesterday demanded to be officially enlightened on what lay in store for them in the immediate future in the context of alleged government moves to wind up operations of the carrier. President to submit cabinet paper, formalize use of elephants in temple functions. President Maithripala Sirisena has decided to submit a special paper to the cabinet which seeks to establish a procedure by which elephants can be officially handed over to temples for use in pageants and other functions, sources said. South Africa withdrawing from ICC. South Africa has formally begun the process of withdrawing from the International Criminal Court, notifying the UN of its decision. South Africa did not want to execute ICC arrest warrants, which would lead to regime change, a minister said. Last year, South Africa refused to arrest Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir, who is wanted by the ICC on charges of genocide and war crimes. EU President confirms January visit to Sri Lanka. European Council President Donald Tusk will arrive in Sri Lanka on an official visit in January 27, EU sources said. Tusk had been invited by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe at talks in Brussels to visit Sri Lanka. With that, let's come to an end of today's paper highlights. We will come with more news tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening to other newspaper highlights.